what I feel would be a great direction would be to share any experience of your first week of using a Healy and your overall experiences, and review testimonials, issues, maybe if anything was confusing during your first week of using Healy, where you went to get information about the Healy, how you overcame technology, anything that you want to say during your first week of using the Healy, and to give a real honest review, I feel would be very beneficial for anybody who is looking to find out how to use a Healy, or at the first experiences using Healy. So.
Okay, wonderful. Yeah, so I mean, essentially, I will just give an honest feedback of what it was like to find out about it, to receive it, to start working with it. I'm holding it right now, and so you know, for me, I wasn't even looking for anything like this. I wasn't particularly in any market for any type of healing device. Quite honestly, I feel really healthy. I feel really just really balanced, and really thankfully not in any kind of state of dis-ease or pain or anything. So for me, I loved that it came into my life in such a spontaneous way, and such a it was more of a feeling that this was a device that, instead of being able to help me, which of course it can, and it has, and I'll talk about that, but it's more of a device that I feel aligned with because of its implications for everyone else, and for its implications not just on the, you know, the biology of each individual and each person's biosphere and energetics and all of that, mind, body, spirit, but also for its implications and what it could do for experiences outside of that, like, you know, industries that could be replaced, and for its implications on just the human experience in general, as a bridge into what I call New Earth, which is what I call the sphere of Amenti, which I feel we are approaching very quickly as we quantum leap in consciousness. And so when I saw the first post, I believe I saw, actually, you know what? There was, I was living on the island of Kauai, and there was a couple of people who had offered sessions with the Healy to friends of mine. And so the information was kind of circulating through word of mouth that this device is out there. And I didn't look into it until somebody posted something about the Black Friday sale they were having. And I just kind of like, okay, let me check it out. Let me go on the website and let me check it out. And with me, I have always had really, I would call it a more sort of advanced intuition, advanced, I guess, higher sensory perception, and understanding. I kind of get downloads in real time on things, and I've learned to trust that information when it comes in. So, you know, my so-called download, when I went to the website and I was actually able to see it and read about it, and especially the Healy Resonance tier or package, it immediately was kind of shown to me and told to me by, you know, all the access I have to consciousness, that this was in fact a bridge technology, a sort of advanced, it's interesting, it's like an advanced, when I say AI, I know that can bring up a lot of, I guess, negative feelings for some people, and fear, and a lot of people kind of don't resonate with that terminology, and I'm actually one of those people, because it can have implications on, you know, however the intention it is being used for. So it's kind of an interesting thing, because I'm at a juncture in my life where I'm realizing that technology is actually has so much positive potential, and instead of us kind of shunning it or fearing it or feeling like it's going to be some kind of transhumanist agenda coming in to kind of turn us into part technology, part, you know, whatever, I had such an epiphany that this is actually it's like part of our healing and part of our realization that it's actually here to benefit us. And it is a type of silicate based technology that is kind of the way of the future, and can create so much, I guess it's a way that we can access vitality on all levels, which will bridge us in the future into realizing that we actually are this technology. But a lot of times we use external things to help us to access that. And so that's what I realized in that moment. And looking further into it, I decided that, yeah, the only way to really stand behind this and support this and know this is to buy into it and use it on myself. And you know, if things go well, I would love to offer it to other people, sessions and whatever. So yeah, I got the resonance, and it arrived in the mail, and I, you know, looked at some YouTubes to figure out what I needed to know, and it was all very straightforward. And there's lots of information out there. And thank you so much, Trevor, for putting that, for your YouTube up, and your website was helpful. And so it was really just, again, downloading the necessary apps, and kind of just, it was, yeah, really streamlined, really fast, turning it on, getting it charged, turning it on, having the apps to look through. And it was just exciting and amazing to look at the, I think it's 120 programs that the resonance package comes with, and seeing what those programs are, and getting excited about the potential of using them on myself and others. So the first thing I wanted to do was really just get set up, you know, understand the apps, and understand I think it's called the Healy analysis one, where you can actually create a profile for yourself or clients of yours, and you can actually run an analysis on your chakra system and your aura, and get, like, you know, this whole feedback on it. So that was actually the first thing I did, is I did that. And and it was interesting because you know, it's the first time that I've actually you know, it asks you to put it in your right hand, and it reads this vibration, and it, you know, you can save that under your profile, and then you know, you can look at what your analysis is for your aura and your chakras. And mine was interesting because it said that my heart and my it said that my heart was kind of, I think, at the lowest read on all of it, which for me at this moment in my life is very accurate, considering everything that I've gone through for the last 2 years, and even the last 2 months have been very heartbreaking. So yeah, seeing that, I was like, oh, that's interesting. You know, I've really, my heart really has been pretty crushed lately. So yeah, you know, it was just interesting to see that. And then I believe the other thing that you can do on there, it's not coming back to me right now. Do you remember what it was?
Yep. You can look into the 120 programs, as well as the Blackflower Remedies, Materia Medica, Show Switch Salts. There's a bunch of those. So
yeah, there's an analysis on what I guess you hold the intention of what would be for your highest good, right? Essentially, and it gives you this whole feedback of what programs that it would suggest for you. So that was interesting. And so then I went to the programs, and currently I'm in Scottsdale, Arizona, and I'm healing from some surgery that I had to have. And so I have some scars that I was interested in seeing if there was a program for helping with scars heal, helping wounds heal, helping, you know, with that. And there's a whole section devoted to that in a way. There's different ones, from systemic scars to acute to, so I ran a program for that, and actually was able to place the what is called, there's like electrodes, yeah, right. So these are electrodes. So I was able to place them on specific areas of concern where scars looked like they were having, yeah, just a bit more complications in the healing. And so I ran that program. But I guess you were able to let me know that it's not always the best transfer of, what would you call it, like when there's a black line versus line. So
yeah, the connectivity was not created the way. And also, just to let you know, that in the event that there is a black line, you're not getting direct connectivity. That's the individual micro frequencies that are going through the electrodes, but it can and does go through the electromagnetic field when you're 3 feet or closer. So even though you didn't get the individual microcurrent frequencies directly to you, you were still getting them. So it's more so to help. It just increases it just a little bit, but you were still getting it for sure.
Sure. And I wanted to talk about that because that was interesting, because I did definitely felt, and as it was a 20-minute program, and as it kind of got toward the like 12-minute mark, I'm very sensitive to energy in general, and I felt this very beautiful, intense, calming, almost sedative sensation, feeling that came over me. And it just was like, wow, it just took me into this deep, not trance, but like, just a very calm, relaxed place. And so yeah, whether it was the right connection or not, it was definitely felt really beautiful, actually, healing kind of effect that it had. And so yeah, no, it's good to know. It's good to know how to make the right connection. These are all the little tiny learning curves that I'm jumping into. I guess you can put water on things to help with the connection, on the little electrodes. So so that was the program that I ran for my scars, which I thought was really just really unique that they even had that program. There's just so many amazing programs that they have, and I ran one for deep relaxation, I believe, um, which was one of the ones that it was suggested when I did my analysis, the biofeedback analysis. And so that one I did before I went to sleep, and again, just extremely calming. Not coming up with the best words, but my experience was positive. It was relaxing. It was definitely took me into a deep sleep. So that was very nice. And um, you know, you can actually run it with music on in the background on your phone, which was, I thought was pretty nice, that you could actually run like Spotify at the same time as you're running the program, which is nice. Um, and so, you know, to be honest, those are the only two programs that I have run in the week, considering everything else that's happened that was spontaneous and unexpected this week. And I intended to run quite a few more on myself. But what I did do was actually, I had a dear friend of mine that was over here who's experiencing chronic lower back pain and mild insomnia. And so I basically just created a profile for him at the, you know, because we haven't dove into it yet, but I created the profile, and with the analysis app, just ran his analysis, if you will. And so got the aura feedback and the chakra feedback, and got the feedback on what Healy would suggest for him is best. And I'm interested in helping him run some programs on him for addressing mostly his lower back pain at the moment, which is really bothering him. So I've already got somebody that's open and interested, and we'll see where that goes. Aside from that, yeah, it's been really easy to use. It's been easy to learn. There are some programs that I would like to understand more about. Definitely programs about pain. It seems like it's not something that you can just look at and know. You have to maybe go into the academy and understand what all those means and how you can use them. So I'm interested to look at all of them over time and just learn more and more and more how to use them properly. And yeah, that's in a nutshell kind of what my first week has been like with it.
Well, have you mainly been, when you ran those programs, did you choose those in the Pink Dot app, or did you, when you ran the analysis, did you also do its recommendations within the Resonance app?
So that's a good question. So the programs that I ran for the scar healing and the deep relaxation were in the pink one. Um, the other program, when it gave me its suggestions, I'm still learning what you can do, because you have actions and vibrate. And so I believe I did like a few minutes of, I think it's vibrate.
Yep.
But I'm really not aware at this moment, with my current level of knowledge with the whole thing. I'm not aware what that does and what I should do, or what my options are. So I've really just got to jump into it and start learning.
Cool. Well, let's take a quick minute today, because as you're leaning into it, and I mean, you've only had the Healy for a week, and I think what a lot of people that I connect with, after a week, it's almost like they beat themselves up because they don't have it perfect yet, and they don't have all the information. It's like, well, wait a second. Imagine if you didn't have a cell phone, and then somebody just gave you one, or a jar of peanut butter. If you've never opened up a jar before and somebody gave you a jar of peanut butter, you know, it's that there's that issue of, you just don't know how it works. So kudos for you for taking it easy. There's a lot of people who, like, well, myself, I'm very familiar with technology, and for me it was just, all right, let's go in, and I'm kind of the guy that goes, I just want to taste of everything. Right. Let me go to the smorgasbord. Let me go to the all you can eat buffet. I'm just like, let me just try all of this. So in the first week, I think it was pretty intense, and I think a lot of people don't realize that this is frequency medicine. It is and can be shifting and connecting with individuals who are on the path of health and wellness and ascension and alignment. They get this in their hands, and it's interesting how many people experience extreme detoxing from because they'll run too many programs too fast. And I was one of them. My wife was another one of them. And it is interesting that I keep hearing low and slow, low and slow, low and slow, especially if there are any issues going on. They recommend not more than 2 or 3 programs a day. But I heard them the last week or two talking, or people were asking these type of questions of, well, I've had it for 6 months, or I've had it for a year now. Am I only still supposed to do 2 or 3 treatments a day? It's like, well, when you have your Healy for the first week, 2 or 3 a day is going to be enough. So it's going to be substantial. But they said, yeah, you can go run 6, 8 programs a day when you're used to that frequency and used to it. So, and for myself, if reflecting back now that I hear your feedback, it sounds like you had a pretty easy week. You were able to help a friend, which is how we became engaged in this as from a business standpoint. Is the second we had it or experienced it, our minds went to other people that we could help. And it was more this selfish, as in we want it because we want like our mission to complete a lot sooner and with a lot less money. But also we knew of all the people that we could help with aligning their optimum vibration, and with having the Healy in a week. So in 7 days we had our Healy, and we just connected with tons of people and did exactly what you did of like, oh, you're hurt. Look, I got this magic box. And they felt better, and they're like, well, I don't want to monopolize your magic box. I want my own magic box. And it just went wildfire like that. And then since we bought a resonance like you did in the first 30 days, if you have 3 people who purchase any of the versions, then we did it in 7 days and got a second resonance. So that's one of the fun things, is you got a substantial amount of time to not only learn, also to help the other people, and then help them help you, and really get curious about that of, well, how does it feel for you? It's almost like, well, it's not almost, it is like we become our own research assistants and for our own health advocates for ourselves. And it's a beautiful journey to go on. And people want the pill and they want it over and they want to be healed, and that's not it. It's the journey for sure. So kudos for you. And the first week, you're one of the only people who didn't like geek out and just take the whole week and, what about this? Can I run this? Can I run this? And it's like, oh,
I've got so many things to geek out on right now that I really just, you know what I mean? I'm literally just spreading myself in so many different areas, exciting areas. And I think, yeah, also I've just been playing with my own technology, like my own, super advanced silicate technology myself for so many years that you know what I mean? I do know not to overdo it. I definitely, especially when you're feeling in alignment. And so like, why would you tweak that alignment that you already have if you're feeling really good? It's a different story if you've got all these issues, right? So mine was like my scars. I'm like, oh, I can help. I can potentially accelerate that and help that. So that's what I used it for. And why not go into deeper relaxation, right? We all want that, especially before sleep. So yeah, I just used it in the way that I felt was going to benefit me. But yeah.
Beautiful. Any recommendation or anything, words of wisdom in the first week of using the Healy would you recommend for anybody who has their like first things first, kind of you got to know this when you get your Healy?
Well, I think it's a good point to research or learn about the connectivity, how to establish the best connectivity. If you're going to use it for a 50-minute program, even a 20-minute program, I mean, that's your time, and that's you might as well understand how to connect it the right way, and how to know that, when you're looking at it on the app and it's showing you that the program has started, if you see that black line, it's indicating that the connectivity is not strong, or that I guess it needs to be a white line, right? Or it should be a white line if the connectivity is at its best. So for my own learning curve, that's what happened to me. So it would be good to know that prior, so you can adjust that before the program actually starts running. Other than that, I think it's good to definitely learn as much as you can, but potentially probably not the best idea to use it, like run all kinds of programs just because they're there and just because they sound like, oh, that might be nice, when you're dealing with your body and how sensitive and delicate some of us can be to shift in frequency, and what our bodies are doing. I would say just to really be attuned to your intuition, and if you're not sure, I wouldn't really jump into using it in all kinds of ways, because I have seen, not with myself, but I have seen with dear friends of mine, that it kind of has like a spin out effect sometimes, or a detox effect. And, you know, that's not always something to, I guess it's not a bad thing. It's not always a bad thing. I'm just saying it might not be the best thing for your first week to jump into it like that. Maybe taking it slow and trying one out and giving yourself a couple of days to process and integrate your new, you know, biosphere and the new frequencies that you're operating within before you jump into like all kinds of different programs.
Yeah, absolutely. We didn't actually connect ourselves physically for the first week, just because when they did the analysis and I saw how powerful it was and being around it, I was like, I'm not sure I want that thing connected to me yet. I want to like take some time to warm up to it. I mean, yeah, it definitely has an opportunity to make you take a day off work, for sure. And also if people are, what I found is if people are on the ascension path and they do a lot of programs after program after program, that will expedite that process of unveiling shadow issues. And if people are not prepared for that, it could have like it could just, like as you say, that spin out. It's more, I like to think of it as a mirror of. And so that when those patterns surface, there's a trigger and a cue for you to connect and acknowledge with them. And what I like to say is when our frequency is low, we go boom, pattern, and that's the out point to connect with the line of truth in our optimum timeline. And so boom, life can get kind of interesting across those lines because you were at a place of non-alignment, now you're in alignment. So all of a sudden you have this, I can see through the veil, I can see the truth, I can see my friends, my family, the things I'm eating, I want to change, New Year's resolution, whatever it is. And then boom, there goes my habits, and 98% of my subconscious takes over and whatever. But then boom, and then as we increase our frequency, boom, 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 boom. So you have all those opportunities to connect with truth, which is also a pattern to connect with the fracture of your core traumas potentially. This was very interesting in bringing up so many opportunities to connect with core traumas. And instead of doing years of shadow work and inner child work to connect with extremities, it brought me way close, way fast. And that was something that I didn't even think about until not too long ago, of how many times, how many things how many soul pieces, how many horcrux, if you will, how many little shards can I put back into my heart. And it did have, before I noticed it, I realized I was like, why am I going into past patterns more often? And it's like, wait a second, I thought it was more aligned and spiritual than that. But really what I realized is that there's those micro patterns, truth, major truth. And what I realized is I got back to the major truth, which is that core, way sooner and faster. Because so just imagine squeezing that together and having those major truths come up many times, because each time they're major, it can major derail you. So take it easy.
Let me ask you, what was your intention when you finally did physically use it upon yourself? Do you feel like you had an intention? If you could sum up, I mean, I know we have many intentions, but did you have kind of like a summary of intention that's upon using it?
Our intention when Julia and I actualized it, it was a 12-hour manifestation, and it actualized in our inbox on Facebook, because we had a very passionate conversation with a strong intention, which was huge, which the flames of desire behind this thing were 10 years of trauma. And to see not only the light at the end of the tunnel, to be the light at the end of all tunnels for ourselves, from a financial aspect of we've reached the center of the onion, to everyone in our life. We wanted to be able to optimally align and be in a place of ease versus dis-ease with my son, my wife, my son, other son, Levi, and myself. And even though we focus so much on health and wellness, there's so much that is coming at us right now at all points of space time at this dimension. And we have been working with energy healers for quite some time, and had spent about 6 figures on that path, and seen miracles upon miracles upon miracles that I would cry every day if I had if that's all I could do for my life. It's a beautiful story, and I love it. It's so amazing. And yet I wanted it to end. I wanted the end of that chapter. I wanted the next. There's no need for suffering. It's now joy. And to call in whatever it is into our lives, where it's one investment, we want it in our hands, and we want it to be able to work for us. And in the event, we can also help other people. Because at that point, we're like, well, let's be creative. And that's what came as a download. And I said, I want to be able to help everybody. And then boom, 12 hours later, it had a message about, hey, have you tried the Healy? You're the first person I thought about. I was like, what is this? Looked online, went MLM. This is, all right. And then when I didn't do any other research besides that, she sat down, her and Michael Gentry, and I just knew the second, like, it was here. And so my intention is to always go back to that moment of being that light at the end of the tunnel for everyone's tunnel, and to be that connector, to find the light, to go right there. And whenever I run any of the programs for myself or anybody, wow, this is a lot of energy coming through. That's a lot of truth. It's literally starting to shut down. Wow, there's never been this much energy. I love being around your presence. I'm so glad we found each other. You found me, I found you. This is wonderful. And wow, that's a lot of energy. And to be able to have that experience, to suffer for that long for other people, and to die that death of that former self so that others would be saved from that trauma, so that others could breathe in the life of the divine and live heaven on earth. That's my intention at all times. Thank you for asking. No one's ever asked.
Amazing. Amazing. Wow. I got like full body goosebumps as I'm saying that. So definitely a truth transmission happening in real time for sure. Thank you so much for sharing that. And the reason I even asked you is because, you know, if this does make it to other people's ears, I feel like we're working with a living technology. You may not, you know, we may see it as a piece of tiny little plastic, but it actually, when I say a living technology, anytime we're dealing with silica, we're literally dealing with something that has a living consciousness potential that is kind of like the God particle, the mystery. And, you know, we're just at the infancy of understanding how this advanced technology interacts with our consciousness and our intention. So your intention, you can feel in this moment, it's so powerful. It's like your intention is all encompassing, to be the light, to be that for everyone. And even your expression and your sound, and this like sound that you did with the light booming. I mean, that, if you're holding that strong and like genuine and in your heart, and it's like emanating from you, maybe at all times, maybe when you're just dealing with the Healy, but it feels like it's at all times for you. It feels like this is a life encompassing intention that you live with, you wake up with, you go to sleep with. It's not just your family. It's something that you have been, you know, living and working up to your whole life. And when you interface with the technology like this, I believe, you know, I can't give you the scientific proof, but I believe that our intention really is the driving force behind our experience with it. So it's kind of like the generator of what is going to actually happen is what intention you hold with it. So, I mean, that's really, really important when dealing with plasma energy, plasma technology, silica technology. I mean, anything that's interfacing with consciousness. And so, yeah, I think that's really important for people to understand, is like just to be intending from a place of like conscious presence, awareness, what is your intention, and to work with it like that.
I couldn't agree more. Which is why when people find this video, they'll get to connect with you, because where I am connecting people with many technologies, more of how to hack their technologies to leverage them towards the technologies that you were speaking of and that we've been speaking of. And so there are going to be an immense amount of people that want to be connected directly to your journey, and to learn from you as you learn and as you grow. So I appreciate you providing your experience in your first week and giving a real heartfelt, honest review of this. And I look forward to seeing what happens down the road. And I think maybe we'll just turn this into like a weekly event or a podcast or something. I love talking to you. So this is going to be, this is great. So I appreciate you, and we'll look forward to chatting again here in the near future. Please do reach out if you have any questions. And
thank you for sharing so authentically, and thank you for holding that intention. Very powerful.
You're welcome. I appreciate you. We'll look forward to talking to you soon. Bye, Lita.
Bye, Trevor.
We know that Healy's got you intrigued, so head on over to ChooseHealy.com to see tons of Healy testimonials, hear reviews on the Healy technology, and how to easily get your hands on this game-changing and disrupting opportunity to support you, your family, your community, your clients, and your patients. We look forward to you scheduling a time to experience the Healy Resonance device from wherever you are. So head on over to ChooseHealy.com to receive all the information you require and to schedule your Healy Resonance experience today. You'll be glad you did. Get ready for the new paradigm of affordable energy medicine. It's here today and waiting for you. ChooseHealy.com.